Alright, this is the last place we left off. The other brother's room.
Lewis's room smelled very, very familiar. That part of him lived on.
Use your pot. Forgot how to do things.
Dear Mrs. Finch, as Lewis's psychiatrist, I can understand your desire for an explanation. As I see it, the trouble began in January, shortly after we convinced your son to seek treatment for substance abuse. Newly sober, I believe Lewis first noticed the monotony of his daily life.
Oh god.
He kept working at the cannery, but he withdrew part of himself. In our sessions, I saw the same behavior.
God. Faster now.
His mind began to
play tricks. Again, what?
wander.
Oh.
I asked him to describe it. He said he started small, imagining a labyrinth. He'd feel his way about.
I'm trying to control both of these.
Then something moved.
This is very
Bats.
difficult trying to cut off fishes' heads
And toads.
and walk around here.
And things that have not names.
So annoying.
He knew it was all in his head. But he took it very seriously. I had hoped he'd find himself.
Oops.
But he
that
found
shit.
something more.
This is
I worried
interesting.
about him then. Daydreaming at the cannery.
Labyrinth.
I spoke with his boss. But he said Lewis had become a model employee. Methodical, tireless, focused. Like a whole new Lewis. So I let him go on. I even encouraged him.
You don't
It
even
seemed
know.
very promising at first. He told me he'd made a new friend.
Dog. Come on, buddy.
On the edge of a city he named Lewis Topia.
Come on.
He built the city up slowly, brick by brick.
I like this.
Then he made musicians. And songs for them to play. He talked about starting a band. And he was always humming something. Every day his imagination grew stronger.
Oh god.
He no longer spoke at the cannery. But his chopping was as reliable as ever.
I bet, because I'm still trying to
Then
do
one
this
day
at
it
the same
struck him.
time while walking.
But all the cheering crowds, even the stones under his feet, were all in his imagination. So he could do whatever he wished.
King, yo.
He held an election for mayor. And he won.
Fucking Super
They
Mario.
begged him to stay, but his mind was already wandering. It became a game for him.
Oh god, there's more. Oh, I gotta control the boat.
He'd conquer a city, then immediately push on. New Louisville.
Playing some kind of game. Yeah,
St. Louis.
it's a game.
He started drifting away from our reality.
I'm trying not to crash.
Minneapolis. Until one day he forgot to go home from the cannery. Even as his mother pleaded with him, part of Louis kept sailing on.
So what, he just never came home? Just stayed working his life away?
In Louisburg, he heard rumors of a
Let's go see a prince.
beautiful prince. The prince was on his own quest for
It's gone dark and
sinister serpents.
Whoa.
He followed the sound of his electric sitar. His chase led him to a golden palace east of the sun and west of the moon. Even then, his logic remained sound. He knew the world was all in his imagination.
Come on, grab it.
But he was so proud of having created it.
Here.
In his own eyes, he'd become something greater than a king. For someone who'd never known success in the real world, I think it was overwhelming. And then it struck him that the real Louis was not the one chopping salmon, but the one climbing the steps of a golden palace. My imagination is as real as my body, he told me. It was hard to argue with him.
What? Oh, what the hell? Am I leaving my job? Quitting my job? That must be my locker. So trippy. Oh yeah, that's definitely my locker.
He began to forget the world we know. I think it pained him to remember Louis, the cannery worker. He began to despise the man with a royal contempt.
You ain't even picking up any fish, bro. Are you that spaced out and everything that happened. What am I supposed to do? Going faster? Can I interact with anything on here? Oh, I have to go up. Oh, hell.
I still thought I could save him. Even after he said he was being crowned king over all the lands of wonder. The palace would be packed with his companions.
Did I? I'm gonna kill myself in this fish factory. This cannery factory. Yeah, jam on, guys. I can't swim
Including the
any
wise
faster.
Calico who'd insisted on inviting him.
A party for me? Oh, you shouldn't have, guys. Thank you. Oh, Molly the cat. Oh. Hoi. Hoi.
His prince waited, holding his crown. There was only one thing left to do.
And the crowd goes wild.
Bend down his head.
No. No. Oh, what the hell, bro? Off with his head.
And the rest I think you know. Mrs. Finch, your son was a kind man who will be missed by all of us who knew him.
He cut his own damn head off. The hell? Yeah. See, kids, and this is why drugs bad
My
for
brother
you.
was really cool. I wish you could have met him. Lewis and I spent a lot of time playing games together, but he was surprisingly bad at them. He died a lot.
Dude. Ouch. Alright, it was too early for that. Excuse me.
He was so proud of being Indian. I think for him, it was a way to be something other than just a Finch.
Oh. You're right, there was another spot. Okay. Oh no, that didn't need it. I know, This was the end, isn't it?
On the way back from Lewis's funeral, my mom told me to start packing. She waited until the day before we left to tell Edie. I'm not sure if she wanted to make it easier or harder. I wish we'd stayed. But I understand why we left.
At the very tippy top.
My mom ended up leaving everything behind. What happened that night had been coming for a long time. Maybe it should have come sooner. But it had to end one way or another. All that's left now is to tell you about that last night.
room.
That whole last day, Edie just watched us pack and didn't say a word. Until supper, when she raised her glass and said,
"To our final night together, and all our final nights apart."
Grandma, you know what I said about alcohol. Some of your medications are very
Edith,
specific.
I left a present for you in the hallway. Why don't you go open it? The grown-ups have to argue now.
I'm sorry, you're right. We're all leaving tomorrow. Let's just enjoy our last...
I'm not leaving.
Edith, you're excused.
Boy. Mama don't want to... Oh, Grandma don't want to leave the house, but Mama does. Alright.
the power had been shut off that morning, but Edie always had plenty of candles. When my mom sealed the library, I don't think she knew about the other entrance. Or that Edie had a key to it.
Nice.
That thing you're afraid of isn't going to end when you leave the house.
What does that even mean? I mean, I guess
Edith has a right to know these stories.
My children are dead because of your stories. I think it's best if Edith and I leave tonight.
damn.
We'll have the nursing home send a van for you in the morning. Okay?
Dear Edith, there's so many stories I wish I could tell you, but there's only time for one. This is about what happened on the night you were born. That night, the tide went way, way out. It was the first and last time I ever saw the old house aground. There'd been an earthquake out in the middle of the ocean. They called it the lowest tide in 1,000 years. God, it smelled awful. You know, I've seen that house every day of my life. But I never thought I'd go back to it.
Shit, I wouldn't have thought it either.
When the fog rolled in, I lost my way.
Oh, shit. I'm just gonna continue walking straight.
I got turned around. For a while, I wandered.
That's pretty dangerous.
I started seeing things.
Are you on drugs too, Grandma? Besides your medications?
Things I'd forgotten had ever existed. But when I saw them, they felt like old friends. That night, a lot of things came back to me. Or maybe I came back to them. Things I can't explain, but that I need you to try and...
Edith, what are you doing in here?
It's mine!
Edith!
Mom, you're gonna rip it! Let go! I kicked and screamed, but Mom dragged me to the car. I never saw Great-Grandma Edie again. The next morning, the van came to pick her up, but she was already gone.
She died? Or she just left?
After that, we moved around a lot. We both tried to make the best of it. A few years went by. My mom didn't like to talk about it. But she started getting sick a lot.
Oh Lord.
The rest happened pretty quickly.
Damn, she fell ill.
She got better for a while, and then she didn't.
Nice.
And then I was alone. The last Finch left alive. Until I found out about you. I'm still not sure what to tell you about all this. If we lived forever, maybe we'd have time to understand things. But as it is, I think the best we can do is try to open our eyes. And appreciate how strange and brief all of this is. This journal was supposed to be for you. But now I hope you'll never see it. I just want to meet you. And tell you all these stories myself. But I guess if you're reading this now, things didn't work out that way.
Am I about to be born? Am I a baby now?
This is where your story begins. I'm sorry I won't be there to see it. It's a lot to ask, but I don't want you to be sad that I'm gone. I want you to be amazed that any of us ever had a chance to be here at all. Good luck.
Damn. She died too. And she had a boy. She must have died after giving birth. Because she was only 17, right? 99 to 17, 2017. About a year after, so 18. Yeah, she died, must have given birth. Oh wow. That's crazy. All the people who created the game when they were kids, I think. So yeah, even she died. Damn, it's crazy. Now he's the only one left. I wonder how he must feel though, after reading all of that craziness. I mean, the aspect of the game is actually pretty cool though. All the different ways they interact with all the different stories. A lot of them are pretty sad, yeah. But at the same time, this game is actually pretty fun to play. Pretty decent. That's a nice photo. I didn't even realize I was this close to the ending. I thought maybe I had like one or two more secrets after this one to, you know, figure out. Oops. Hit my mic. Doggo! Big doggo! 2D artist. The baby's toys. That one just got me. It was just so sad. this one was especially fun to play with the story aspect of, you know, being in the comic itself. Pretty neat. But honestly, it's hard to guess how some of these people died. Just like, I mean, it's not too hard, but hard enough. Because, like, with the way the stories are told, there could be, like, multiple ways of thinking of how people may have died. She got gun. And these are old photos. Reminds me of my photos back when I was a kid. And the artwork for this stuff is pretty great. And all of the secret rooms and stuff are pretty cool too. Scared for life too. Trick or treat. Smell my feet. There's the team. 5 years? Nice. What was it? Alright. Well, that's the end of that. Surprised like they didn't put like a new little page, or not even a page, like a drawing off to the right hand side showing like another branch or something, because you know, now that she's had her kid and whatnot, it would show like the new branch or something, and then I don't know, maybe just add that part in. But this was fun nonetheless, and